Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back to Monday nights. It's the Radical SR8 Championship Round 6, powered by GridFinder, live from Zolder Circuit. Well, what more can you say? 2.4492 miles, 4.01 kilometers in the Limburg area of Belgium, somewhat sat in the shadows of Spa-Francorchamps. Not everybody's love circuit, let's put it that way. Definitely isn't mine. I am not keen on this circuit, but I'm not the one that's got to drive it. It is down to these Radical SR8 drivers. Let's have a look at the championship as it stands. We've just gone into, or heading into Quali very, very shortly. John McCutcheon out in front on 2.73 with Eamon Bramer on 2.33. Paul LeMay on from Two Brothers Racing on 2.23, and Jamie Bird on 2.05. Then we've got Luke Maxwell, Mike Bousson, Stefan Mellis, Eric Harmon and Graham Matthews rounding out the top 9. Then Lucas Vieira, Paul Crabb, Melo de Graaf, David Rolliston, Paul Clark, Richard Jones and Julian Rees rounding out the 16-strong field. I'm JB. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, who's going to be alongside me here once more to bring us this action. We've got 3 races for you here this evening. Race 1 will be 20 minutes, grid set by Quali. Race 2 will be 20 minutes with a top 10 reverse, and race 3 will be 25 minutes with a top 5 reverse. So reverse grids all the way through apart from race number 1. So going to be very, very interesting indeed. Let's bring Alex into the booth with us. Alex, welcome in. How are you?
Evening, JP. Evening, everybody. Yeah, great to be alongside you once again. We seem to be like commentator magnets attached at the microphone, you and I. But yeah, Circuit Zolder, a little bit of a hidden gem, as you said, not to everyone's liking. Just 30 minutes outside of one of the best European karting circuits known to man, Karting Genk, the home of champions. It's basically 25 minutes up the other side of the motorway on this side of Brussels. So, yeah, it's tight, it's old school, it's challenging, and yeah, you've got to be on your marks with this circuit in comparison with, say, Spa-Francorchamps, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this circuit brings a mixed bag of opinions, and it's almost like everybody's Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. Now, for me itself, I don't enjoy this circuit. The racing at this circuit is exceptional, but the driving for me is just not there. Now, there's some of the guys that have said this circuit has brought some tough challenges this week, and they've quite enjoyed it and stuff like that. So, maybe they're a little bit more into it than I am, but I don't know. I've never been a fan, to be honest. I've never been a fan of this circuit. I'm not quite sure why. That's the problem, Alex. If I could give you a finger point and say it's because of that, you can see down the cones on the left-hand side. We are on the alternate circuit. So I'm really not quite sure why that is. I don't like it, but there is a reason, as Mike Bousson's just gone and put it in the wall by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, that's not exactly a good way to start your qualifying session here at round 6, but never mind. Yeah, it is. It's a bit like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I like it because of the, it's very much the Belgian equivalent of Brands Hatch GP, where it is very, very close. And I've seen real life racing here. I think it was the Sky Limit Ford Fiesta Cup a couple of years ago, and then also we had the NASCAR Wheeling Euro NASCAR Wheeling series that same weekend. So in IRL as a spectator, it's a wonderful track. This race also has for the last 6 years held the Mind charity race organised by Jimmer himself, Jimmy Broadbent, the 23 Hours of Zolder, which we at JP Broadcasting had the distinct pleasure and opportunity to broadcast that race in its entirety late last year. So, yeah, it is a case of you've got to be with these SR8s very much on your A game. And the runoff areas are very, very slight. You can see here, as we've got Ewan Bremer, who's currently gone purple in sectors 1, 3, and 4, briefly for a moment. Not quite yet, but it's more the case of keeping it nice and clean. Bremer sets the first fastest lap of the session so far with a 19.974. Luke Maxwell goes in and he's 7.5 tenths adrift. So you've got to be very clean. Of course, these SR8s are low to the track, and Ewan's making his way through a canal into Lucien Bianchi. And the good thing is with the Belgians, they like to put the word bocht at the end, which is basically the Flemish word for corner, same as in the Netherlands with Circuit Zandvoort, amongst other tracks. Then you've got the Kleine Chicane into Sacrament-Schelling, which means you go up this slight incline, then down the descent through into Butter and then into Villeneuve, and then you've got to be very careful with track limits here, and also sausage curbs.
Oh, didn't we see them last night in an open wheel?
Oh, we did. We did. Sim racing for simpletons.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I've still got flashbacks and nightmares from that.
Yeah, and we weren't even here. That's the problem as well. But I think this is going to bring some form of different dimension to this racing. I think a couple of guys are going to nail this racetrack. I know a couple of them during practice struggled to get lap times on. Obviously, Ben Jones has joined the league this evening. He didn't do great in practice. Stefan Mellis, as per normal, from our superstar DJ, came in late. Literally about 5 minutes ago, to be blatantly honest. So we'll see how he gets on as well. But it's the likes of E1 Bramer, Luke Maxwell, kind of got, getting the practice in, getting the times down, doing an absolutely stellar job. So we still see good racing regardless. And, we saw good racing for the hour endurance at Kota as well, where double points were up for grabs, So there was a lot of action and a lot of racing taking place. And I think this isn't going to be any different. Yeah, we're down 11 drivers, but D24's had something to do with that this weekend. And people have been absolutely shattered. So, but we'll still get great racing. And I think just at this track, I don't know if numbers really make a difference. I think that these guys will put on a show regardless.
Yeah, I mean, the circuit also hosts has hosted since, I think it was 1983 until 2019, then COVID hit. They've run the 24 hours of Zolder. I would consider Zolder more of a sprint style circuit rather than an endurance circuit, and the reason for that is you're going to see now Ewan Bremer go through into Elster, which is this fast left-hander, and they're approaching it at about the best part of 140 plus miles an hour in the SR8s, but then they drop it down to, they scrub off about 45, 50 miles an hour worth of speed, because you've got to carry the momentum through into the slight the short shoot through from Lucien Bianchi into Kleine Chicane. You're going to accelerate. People are going to go off track. Of course, we've got the new debris model here on iRacing, where gravel can be kicked up and put onto the outside of the racing line on the circuit. So we could see that drivers could be compromised if they go a bit too far into the kitty litter. But as we saw with Mike Bousson a bit earlier on in the start-finish straight, literally ploughing into the pit wall. That is not what you want to do, because these cars literally will disintegrate the minute you hit something at high velocity.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, there's a lot of variances that we see. We often see bits of carbon and car go flying off in opposite directions, right? And next thing you know, they're magnetized back onto the car. So it's very difficult to see whether or not they've got it or whether or not they haven't. But what they don't want to do is even Waymer goes and puts it on pole on a 1:19.127. Great lap time from him. Paul LeMay sitting down in fifth. Paul Krabs just jumped up into third. What's John McHutchinson going to be able to do? What they don't want to do, Alex, is put it into the wall in the first place. I think that's the thing. Keep it out of that wall.
Yeah, and we see heading down into Boulderberg is John McHutchinson, the Flying Scotsman. Always a treat to watch. Luke Maxwell, in the meantime, has gone 8/100ths quicker than Ewan Bremer for provisional pole. Got 2.5 minutes to go, but John's just gone purple in sector 5. He's come out of the final complex and across the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. 1 minute 19.006 from the number 69. Good shot there from John McHutchinson. He really teed it up nicely in the final couple of sectors.
Yeah, Stefan Mellis is going to get his time on the board, goes in ninth on a 1:20.7. So we've got a second in the top 7, and we don't hit outside that till Menno de Graaf in 8th place. Mike Buson having a bit of a rough one as well at the moment on a 121. You can see the alternate circuit is that fast flowing left-right compared to Jackie Ickbot, the kind of the stop left-right, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's like hard on the brakes, 90 left, then 90 right, and then you've got to accelerate. But you don't want to accelerate too early as, oh, here goes Mike Buson for a spin through Erster and into Canal. That has literally caused him to abort that lap. So, plus the tyres will be dirty, dusty, filled with gravel sticking to the slick tyres on the SR8. So, not just him, but Benjamin Jones has just gone for a bit of an off-track in his own right. So, as this qualifying...
Paul LeMay!
Paul LeMay, who's got the new fastest lap in qualifying, has just literally said sausage curbs, bounced over it through Kleine Chicane, and it spat the car out sideways, exit stage right. Luckily enough, Paul was good enough to hold onto the brakes really, really hard. I think he was... that was definitely a code brown in any respect there for Paul, bless him.
Well, he went up in the air, so I'm really not quite surprised. Bump, there he goes. Oh, up and over he goes, just off 4 wheels, and unfortunately for him, around he goes. So all done and dusted for Mr. LeMay this time around. We've got 25 seconds, give or take, left of qualifying. Ben Jones with a 124 at the moment. Mike Buson sitting down there at the same time. Mike's going to come over the line. No improvements on his sector time. Is he going to make an improvement on his actual times? No. So Mike Buson having a bit of a rough one, Alex, and could be starting all the way down in 10th.
Yeah, but we have seen him before shoot his way through the field, and he's done that both in SR8s and also SR10s. So Buson tends to struggle in qualifying as the server times out, and it's Paul LeMay on pole.
Yeah, here is the grid for race number 1. Paul LeMay will be on pole position, and John McHutchison in 2nd, Luke Maxwell 3rd, Eamon Bramer from Team HRT in 4th. Then we've got Paul Crabb in 5th, David Rollison 6th, Jamie Bird in 7th, with Menno de Graaf in 8th, Stefan Mellis in 9th, Mike Buson in 10th, and then Ben Jones in 11th place. So, we'll see how Ben gets on here for his first outing in the SR8. Good luck, young man. It's going to be a steep learning curve for you with these, very fast individuals around him.
Yeah, it's going to be, as you said, a very steep learning curve as we're just waiting for everybody to ready up. Luke Maxwell has jumped into 3rd on the grid, waiting for Mike Buson and John McHutchison to join the grid, and then we'll be ready for those 5 lights to ignite and then extinguish, and we'll be off for the first race of the evening. But yeah, I think the sprint race format does suit Zolder a lot more than you would say an enduro, but we have seen enduros happen on iRacing, like I mentioned about the race for mental health, which has done now 6 editions and raised over £350,000 for the mental health charity Mind. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one over these 3 races, and of course we're going to pretty much nearly have a full reverse grid for our second race. So whoever finishes 11th is going to be not where they want to be, as John McHutchison is not made into the grid in time.
Yeah, 5 lights, ladies and gentlemen. We are green, green, green. And John McHutchison is out. Unfortunately for him, as we come down into turn 1, Paul LeMay has got off the line. He's got into the lead. Luke Maxwell trying to go around that outside line, not making it work at the moment. Ewan Bramer slots into 3rd place. David Rolliston finds himself up 2 places in 4th, as Jamie Bird up 2 into 5th as well. But as Paul LeMay takes the whole shot at the moment, does a great job of getting past on, he didn't really get past. He just led from the start. Maxwell's giving him grief on the run down into Kleiner. They don't really want to try this. They are going to try it. Maxwell manages to take the lead, bullies out Paul LeMay, jeopardizes LeMay's exit, and now he's on the run. And here with David Rolliston tucked in right behind him, Alex.
Yeah, David Rolliston got a good launch through Kleine Chicane, but oh no, that's going to cause chaos through Villeneuve. So Bird, de Graaf, Rolliston, you're going to see it here, going through into Butter on the run into and it's Rolliston who has Bird up the inside. Bird mounts the sausage curbs. Oh, that's not cricket. That's not cricket right there. And Buson goes for a spin. John McHutchinson has rejoined the race, but quite a way down. He's about half a lap down off of the opposition. There's Menno de Graaf without any front bumper on the car. So he's going to take a trip into pit lane. So he was caught up in the crossfire when Bird went for it on Rolliston, and Bird's back axle went skyward, tagged Rolliston, put him around, and then Menno de Graaf had nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunately for that was a game over. Luke Maxwell has got ahead here, and we saw that going into climb up, muscled out Paul LeMay. Good evening, Mr. Rob Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. As Luke Maxwell now takes up the whole shot through Kleiner, they go out the other side. Everybody else, because of that incident, is spread out here at the moment, and we're waiting to see if they can group back together in the next 18 minutes. You just go to show on a short grid, one major collision where you have 4 or 5 cars involved. Alex just spreads everybody back out, and now we're going to have to sit and watch Paul LeMay and Luke Maxwell bring us the action.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from previous outings on the Radical Race Series SR10 Championship that I've commentated alongside you on, Paul LeMay is going to find this a bit of a Herculean task. Of course, we know that he has struggled with one of his arms with difficulties through a previous injury, but Luke Maxwell gets a slowdown. Yep. Luke Maxwell gets a slowdown, and Paul LeMay shoots past and into Erster, the number 27, back in the race lead.
Yeah, Paul LeMay making advantages of Maxwell's slowdown there. Crab Paul into 4th, Bramer in 5th, Mellis in Bramer in 4th, sorry, Mellis in 5th place. Bramer the only one not to gain or lose places along with Paul LeMay. There's only 2 people who have not gained and lost any. John McHutchison is back up into 7th and jetting after Mike Buson as well. Good evening, Patrick, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us as the Scotsman himself takes up the challenge to get onto contact with Mike Buson after what can only be deemed as he forgot about the start. I'm not really sure.
Or maybe he took a comfort break at the wrong time. It can happen, folks, where you go like, okay, I've got a short amount of time after quali, and then you get that minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then you find yourself in the pit lane. So John McHutchinson would have started second on the grid alongside Paul LeMay after qualifying, but now, Mike Buson, started down in 10th. It wasn't an easy qualifying for the number 666, but we know John McHutchinson, he's always rapid. Whatever you put him in a Radical, whether it's an SR8 or an SR10, he will give it everything.
Absolutely. He will literally give it all and see what it can do and see whether or not he's going to be able to pull it up and catch up with it. It's going to be interesting to see how high he can go here for John McHutchison. LeMay's dropped back, extended the gap, I should say, to Luke Maxwell. Looks like Menno de Graaf and David Rolliston has had another moment. At one point, David had cleared Ben Jones, but David's got no front nose cone whatsoever on that car. Oh, yay.
That's the second time they've come into contact there.
Bird and Rolliston.
Oh, and Rolliston's now back into pit lane, so yeah, but McHutchinson is closing that gap. It's to 0.3 of a second going through into Villeneuve, and again, John just flirting with that bit of danger with regards to the sausage curbs that we do see both at Kleine Chicane and also Villeneuve. So now into what will be Boulderberg before they go into Jochen Rindt, which is a nice sort of easier chicane to navigate. You're basically straight lining it, but then this bit here, I find this a little bit more conducive to the Radicals for the rather than the Jackie X chicane that we were talking about earlier. So you get a nice run of speed, which can actually tee things up a little bit easier for Erster at T1.
Yeah, definitely. I think with that stop-start Jackie Ickbot at the end, it kind of doesn't allow them to get the run down into turn 1, but this kind of style, this circuit makeup does allow them to get there. I will say as well, Iwan Bramer has started closing back in here and is catching Paul Crab, but I just want to see what John can do to Mike Buson. Whether or not Mike's going to, well, allow him through, fight him through. Mike's not been the quickest in the race this evening, so in hindsight, John should clear Mike pretty easily.
Yeah, he took about 1/10 of a second out of him last time around on lap 4, so these laps are going to fly by, folks. I mean, we're 6.5 minutes in, we're about to complete lap 5, so we're probably talking about 18 laps, I would have thought, give or take, in this first 20-minute race. So McCutcheon right on the bumper through Boulderberg, now into Jochen Rindt. And this is where John's going to have the slipstream coming out of this alternative layout through into the chicane. You can just see they're hustling the cars through, scrubbing off a little bit of speed, but we've had a drama for Ewan Bremer. Ewan Bremer's ended up in the wall, and he's possibly, he's lost it, coming out sideways, bang, into the right wall.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Ewan Bremer, but you saw where he lost it. I think it was a fairly definitive. He lost it going in because he hit the bump coming in as well. That unsettled the car. Then he hit another one on the exit just there, and he starts bumping that car. And then unfortunately the car's like, no, dude, you need to more Netflix and chill me than take me to a cinema and watch Jason. You know what I mean?
Jason Voorhees. I think one of the things about Zolder are these slight indents into corners, especially on the alternative layout, because you're carrying over 100+ miles an hour of speed, and you've got to be millimetre perfect. If you make the slightest amount of slip wrong, then you're going to go into the wall, as Ewan Bremer just found out. But John McHutchinson, going through into Boulderberg, has now got the job done on Mike Buson. Now he can go start chasing after Superstar DJ in front of him. He's only 1.7 seconds up the road, and that is Stefan Mellis rounding out the top 4.
Yeah, you can see here, here's one of the bumps there. The second one's on the exit, and it's almost like a join, isn't it? It gives you that bumpy, joiny part of the race circuit, and I think that's the thing for these guys. You know, they've got to try and control that bump, but it's not always easy when you're lifting a car off its wheels to make sure that you can keep it on the racetrack, especially in kind of a, I'm going to say, semi-high downforce car, because we know these are quite strong on downforce, but they're not quite GTP level, you know. And I think that's the thing, when you start unsettling something with a wing and it's downforce driven, you're going to be in trouble straight away.
Yeah, I mean, especially at a circuit like Zolder, you don't want to trim too much of that aero to a lower downforce setup, because that puts you straight away at a disadvantage. At Spa, I could understand it, but here at Zolder, you need all the mechanical grip from aero, the tyres, in these SR8s as much as possible here at Zolder, because you just need to be able to turn those cars in as best you can. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You need every little bit of grip that car can give you, and every little bit of control that you can put through the tyres. That's the thing. If you can control that, you're pretty much on for a winner. To go on board with John McHutchison, just see chasing down Stefan Mellis. That last part looks absolutely horrendous. Paul Crabb's got the fastest lap of the race on a 1:18.85, and I don't think it's going to be long before McHutchinson is climbing all over the back of Mellis very shortly.
And possibly have another fastest lap, because Paul Crabb took it away from John McHutchinson, who did a low 18.9 around the circuit. So now we're at the halfway point of the race. John McHutchinson, I think he could be on a possibility as soon as he clears Stefan Mellis, but don't try and go through at the Kleine Chicane. You might get through at Sacrament Schelling coming up over the incline if you get it right, but John McHutchinson wallop those sausage curbs, and it draws all the momentum from that back axle right out of it. And that's exactly what's happened with John. When he gets to, like, say, Terlamanbocht, of course, this circuit originally known, when it was open back in 63, was Circuit Terlaman, because before it changed to Zolder. So this is where John's going to gather a bit of speed now, and I think he might be able to tee it up for Erster coming up shortly, because Stefan Mellis, a little bit screwy on the back end coming out of Boulderberg, and now going through into the alternative chicane. McHutchinson will have the run. He's 4/10 behind. If he picks up the slipstream quickly, he'll have a number done on Stefan Mellis. Look, the slipstream's coming into play right now. Yeah,
I don't think it's enough. It needs to be a lot closer. He only gained about 1.5 tenths then, Alex, as well, and he was still 2.5 tenths short. So he needs to be right tucked in coming through there if he's going to be able to clear Mellis. Mellis, however, did not have a good turn 2. Now coming up into 3. It's going to be John's opportunity. He's got to carry that speed. Now, oh no, not that much. Oh, he might still... well, I think he was given that place.
I think Stefan didn't really want to fight it, to be completely honest with you. But
I would have done.
Yeah, I think you and I would have both fought to see if we could keep John McHutchinson behind us, but Stefan Mellis in his own right, okay, he doesn't put much practice in. He's always admitted that. I still remember that with the JPB GT4 series. He'd always rock up in a McLaren at McLaren 570S, and he'd just go, yeah, I haven't done much practice. But he's a busy man away from his sim racing, is Stefan. But of course, this is a home circuit for him, nevertheless. So for him, he should know this pretty well. I may have visited it a few times in real life, possibly not on track, but maybe as a spectator, who knows. But if he can keep within a second of John McHutchinson and John makes a mistake, then Stefan can capitalise as a direct correlation.
And we've seen many people can make mistakes here as well. So keep it on the track. John for a podium. Oh,
that's a tall order with 7.5.
Yes.
7.5 minutes to go. But with John McHutchinson, when you've got Paul Crabb, who's taken the fastest lap away from him in this race, let's not forget, is running around the same time. They're doing low 1 minute 19.1s, the pair of them. So Paul Crabb now starting to try and close in on Luke Maxwell, and is the best part of 3.5 tenths of a second quicker than the number 118 in front of him. So there's an opportunity that Crabb could go for second because he's got time. That gap between them is only 1.9 at the minute.
Yeah, he did get 4 tenths on lap 7, 3 tenths on lap 9, and unfortunately lost 2 tenths on lap 8. So it was only about half a second over the last 3 laps that he's gained on Luke. Let's see what the difference is going over the line for lap number 10 here. Luke Maxwell's going to go over the line. Crabb's going to go over the line as well. Maxwell, well,
he's got Rolliston in front of him. He's got Rolliston in front of him, so that could prove to be a problem at this tight circuit.
There is David Rolliston, back marker, of course. I'm sure he will not make this as difficult as he possibly could, of course.
Oh, Bouson's in the pits.
Oh, dear.
Mike, what you done, buddy?
He wasn't having a good one anyway.
No.
Oh, round he goes.
Oh, that was at Boulderberg.
Yeah. Oh. Great on the old entrance there, Mike. That looks very bumpy on the way back out, and then he goes down into pit lane, unfortunately for him. But we've still got Crabb crawling, closing in 2 tenths, 2 seconds to Luke Maxwell. McHutchinson's 4.8 back. Is it a tall order with 5.5 minutes to go?
Well, with John McHutchinson, the words never say never come into the equation. But I think if John pushes too hard, he could get himself a slowdown, which is what he won't want to have happen. And that could put the gap between him and Paul to probably the best part of north of 5 seconds. And John on that lap, well, get this, was 1.1 seconds quicker. So, and he's just taken back the fastest lap from Paul in the process. So an 18.687 for the number 69 from Scotland. So 5 minutes to go. I'm going to go 50-50. I'm not going to say I'm sitting on the fence because you know what happens with that, James. You get splinters in your bum.
Splinters in your bottom, but he did get 1.1 seconds quicker than Paul Crabb on that last lap alone.
So if Paul is dealing with backmarker traffic, that could give John the opportunity he needs. But, however, Paul Crabb has got through on David Rolliston. So, yeah, this could be rather interesting. I mean, John's dropped Stefan Mellis like a bad habit and has put him 3.6 seconds behind. So it's a case of what John does now. If Paul is finding it a little difficult to find pace, I mean, obviously with being behind David Rolliston for quite a time, that's where he lost that 1.1 seconds. And with 4 minutes to go, it's anyone's guess. I mean, that was a bit sketchy going into the alternative chicane there for Paul. I mean, he could have nearly lost it there, and the gap now down to 4 seconds with less than 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, and he's got that back marker. And he's got David Rolliston. So what is he going to be? McHutchison, half a second. What they got?
Yeah.
118s.
So we're probably talking about another 3 or 4 laps, I would have thought. Yeah.
Half a second, he's going to be about 2 seconds short, I think.
Yeah.
And he's got to clear David Rolliston. So,
yeah.
And that's not been, by what I can see, the most easiest task for some of these guys this evening. Rollo doing his bit, of course. Driving there, unfortunately, is down in 9th place. Mike Booth's on his back out on the grid and is in 10th. He's currently sitting in reverse grid pole for race number 2. The man has had a bit of a rough evening. Menno's still trying to recover, bless him, from the very first incident that he was involved with. His bumper went flying off all over the place, unfortunately, for Menno de Graaf. And he had his own another one here as well, which looks like coming into turn number 5 into the Kleiner Chicane. Oh, he's already going. There we go.
Yeah. Little nibble at the sausage curbs on the right-hand side of the exit.
Yeah, and there was a lot of dust on that line he was on at the same time. So that's probably not going to help him. The car's quite spread out as we speak, but Paul LeMay doing a great job taking this victory, of course, and following up from his second at Kota last week. So Paul's on a bit of a flyer here in the championship.
Yeah. It's been, as soon as he got back into the race lead after overtaking Luke Maxwell, who took the early advantage in this first of 3 races. Paul's just been quite calm and consistent. You know, he hasn't pushed the car. He's been running in the low 1:19 19s, and sometimes it's not always about getting the fastest lap, but just you know, hitting your lines, hitting your braking zones, accelerating out of the corners without getting too early on the loud pedal on the right-hand side of the cockpit. So he's done a pretty stellar job, and long may that continue. But of course, it's a top 10 reverse for Heat 2, so he's going to be on the outside of row 5 when we go green for race 2 coming up after this one. But a minute and a half left to go. I think we could be going on to either our penultimate or final lap. It's going to be down to the wire here. So let's see. 2 to go.
Yeah, 1 and 1 more. I think just about, it was about 3 or 4 seconds short. So Paul LeMay unfortunately got 1 more to go. He's coming up to, believe it or not, lap Ewan Bramer. He really could do with Bramer kind of towing him along almost for the last couple of laps, couldn't he? And use that draft to open up a little bit away from Luke Maxwell. Unfortunately, Ben Jones has had a moment going into Kleiner as well. What do we reckon? Sausage curb on the way out?
He's lost it before he's even tried to go right. So yeah, a bit too much speed, I think, carried into the corner, and a bit of late rotation, and then the back end went, oh, see you later.
Yep, absolutely. And there he goes, does allow Paul LeMay to go through. That's brought the gap down to 1.3 seconds to Luke Maxwell. Coming round into Boulder, now in through Jochen Rindt, left, right, and then into that fast chicane at the end. Luke really could do with Ben kind of shifting that machine out of the way sooner rather than later. Gap's gone back out from 1.3 to 1.7, nearly 1.8. I think that's going to be a tall order here to ask of Luke Maxwell, and I think he's going to be settling down in second place for this one.
Yeah, and another new fastest lap by the Flying Scotsman, John McHutchinson, now 2.5 seconds behind Paul Crabb. But Paul LeMay, the number 27 from Two Brothers Racing, just carrying on with the business at hand, and yeah, just hitting his marks. That's exactly what he needed to do. Luke Maxwell runs a bit wide coming out of Lucien Bianchi-Bach, but yeah, I mean, at the moment, Paul's just keeping it nice and calm. He's just hitting the right lines and just not getting, you know, keeping his nose clean. And that's quite important when you've built up an advantage. You can let it sort of slightly go towards the end of the race, but you don't want to push too hard, because the first thing you want to do is keep that car in one piece, and you've got to get over the line first. And he's not that far away from doing it, James.
Now, through the final right-hander he goes. Paul LeMay goes through left, goes through right. He's got one more left, right to bury. Is it an easy one? No, because there's bumps in there. There's one bump. There's the second bump. He manages to get through that, but Paul LeMay comes over the line, takes the victory in race number 1 here at Zolder, and does a great job. Luke Maxwell gets second place. Paul Crabb does get third. John did not get up to David Rolliston for 4th, but Stephen Mellis comes over the line in 5th. So no podium for John McCutcheon this time around, Alex.
Yeah, well, hopefully, if he gets himself onto the grid, we could have seen a very different story. We could have seen, I think, John McCutcheon, Paul LeMay battling it out for the race win. And it might have been the case that, well, we've seen that when John hits the front, well, everyone's possibly going to be eating his dust a little bit, so to speak. But nevertheless, we've got the top 10 reverse coming up, which will have Mike Bousson on pole position. Ewan Bremer will start from 4th on the grid, having finished in 7th place as he makes his way through Terlamen, now on the run down to Boulderberg. So a difficult first race for Ewan Bremer for the team, but yeah, he's got another 2 races to claw it back as the Dutchman.
Yeah, he has. He's got another 2 opportunities, another 2 bites at the cherry after his win at Kota in that 60-minute endurance. Oh, that bump does look quite horrendous going in there. I think kind of saw how much it made that front end go, but over the line goes Ewan Bremer. And that's finished off race number 1. I will just need to bring up the UI when they switch over to gridding for race number 2 to extend it for them. Otherwise, there'll be a couple of unhappy people. Okay. Nope. Why is that not extending? Love it. Does it every single week and then just don't want to do it this week. There we go. All right, so as extended for the race number 2, let's bring you up the results from race number 1. And Paul LeMay is your winner by 1.11 of a second over Luke Maxwell. Paul Crabb sitting in 3rd, went over the line in front of John McCutcheon and Stephen Mellis in 5th. Jamie Bird in 6th. Ewan Bremer in 7th. David Rolliston, Ben Jones, Mike Bousson sitting on pole for race number 2, and then Menno de Graaf in the final place on the grid. So, going to be interesting, I think, here for race number 2, because you've got Mike, Ben, and David and Ewan. Neither of them had great races. Jamie had a race. Stephen Mellis, again, probably had a race better than his means, should we say, and that's no disrespect to Stephen. And then you've got the likes of McCutcheon, Crabb, Maxwell, and May all coming in behind that lot. So you've got some very quick guys, and you've got the guys kind of midfield struggled. This could either go really well or explode.
Well, John McCutcheon is about to become Mr. Team Pit Lane if he's not very careful, because we're nearly at 2 minutes of the drivers gridding up, and we've only got, what, 5 cars on there. I mean, Mike Bousson's had a shocker. Ewan Bremer, not the best of luck. Jamie Bird causing that opening lap incident. I mean, Jamie's starting mid part of the top 10, so he should be happy with that one. But it's all about what happens now. And of course, when all these drivers do grid up, they will have an opportunity to see who's going to be able to lead from the front. Of course, Benjamin Jones, an interesting first race for him. Finished P9, qualified 11th in the first race. So I'll be interested to see how he handles being at the sharp end of the field. But then, of course, it's one thing to come into a new league and be given a swift kick up the rear as if to say, right, you've got some fast pedalers around you, mate.
It's going to make the heartbeat beat, shall we say.
And maybe raise your blood pressure for some tablets as well. You never know.
Yeah, kind of when you're into a new league and you're sitting on the front row, you kind of sit back and think, I am not on the pace. Do I really want to do this? That's going to be the question. Does he really want to get involved and sit at the front? Or will he make a consensus decision and go and sit in pit lane? I don't really know what way Mr. Jones is going to go. To be honest, he's got about a minute and a half left of grid in here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells as well. Don't forget to say hi, because obviously, well, we do talk back. So, you know,
and we do keep a look on the YouTube chat whenever a broadcast is on, especially us two.
Yes, absolutely. So sit tight. Ben Jones has got on the front row. Mike Buson has not. He's got off the front row again. Mike, Luke and John doing their traditional, we are not going to arrive until we possibly latest have to, which is their tradition, should we say, Alex, in all series that we broadcast with them three in. They are traditionally late on to the racetrack.
There are always a couple of stragglers, folks. It's just part and parcel, and it's just. I think John might have had, if he's gone for a comfort break, now was the right time to do it. But it's getting close. 25 seconds until the 5 minutes of gridding up is completed, and then we'll have the engines revving up again and ready for the 5 red lights to go out once more for the second race of tonight.
Yep. And then we go into the top 5 reverse for race number 3, that 25-minute race. These guys have not got long to get onto the grid, shall we say, for Mike Buson and Luke Maxwell. They better get a Swifty on, otherwise they will not be in race number 2. Luke is on to the grid. Where is Mike? Is he just going to play games and then all of a sudden going to appear right at the end? There you go. There he is.
Finally.
I thought he might. So hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, because race number 2 is going to erupt here. The fast boys are at the back. Keep an eye on them, but we got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Once more, we are green, green, green for race number 2 at Zolder. Mike Buson out in front, got David Rolliston alongside him. Ben Jones has somehow ended up all the way down the back end. I think he just pulled over and said, no, lads, after you. Rolliston now, Bird and McCutcheon going side by side through turn 2. Bird's going to have the inside for turn number 3. That should cement it here for Jamie Bird, and he should be able to hold on to that place. He does. What's his run going to be out? Covers off McCutcheon's line on the outside. Buson's got a good start. McCutcheon's gone for the inside line. Coming into Klein. Bird, McCutcheon later on the brakes. Through he goes, gets it wrong on the exit. Bird's now going to run him side by side again here, Alex. Coming into Villeneuve chicane.
Yeah, that was, Benjamin Jones just did not get off the line well enough, and everyone had to try and avoid him. And then he came through into Erster, but John McHutchinson had that late, that lastminute.com, did a bit of a Danny Rick, didn't he, into the Kleiner chicane, but they're going into the approach into Sacrament Shelling up the hill. He lost all that drive. Again, it's just that nature of that chicane. You can nigh on straight line it, but you've just got to be very, very wary of your exit of the second part through the right-hander. But Mike Buson leading the way. David Rolliston in second after lap 1, 9/10 of a second behind. Then it's a further 6/10 back to Jamie Bird. McHutchinson, Maxwell, LeMay, Crabb, Mellis. Top 8 covered by 4 seconds at the moment, or 3.8 seconds. So have a look at the replay of the start here. And Benjamin Jones, doesn't really get off the line at all. Ewan Bremer's stuck behind him, then has to wait, and then goes alongside him. So, yeah, Benjamin Jones, I think, probably didn't dump the clutch quick enough. And, he just had this slow roll off the line. And Ewan Bremer's been in the pits. So has Benjamin. Well, Benjamin Jones has taken a massive hit. I think the right rear got big damage because that car looked to be crabbing there.
Yeah, it did. I'm not quite sure what happened to Ewan Bremer. He's back out of pit lane, but he went in and just stopped for 1.5 seconds. Not sure if there was contact there that took place, but Luke Maxwell has got the looming, the fast running Mr. LeMay here. Paul trying to go around the outside at the moment. He's not going to be able to make it through. He's going to look for the run Through in to Jochen Rindt they go. Now into the alternate chicane at the end. Maxwell's got that inside. Oh, Luke!
That was cheeky.
Cheeky? You little bully, Mr. Luke Maxwell.
Well, they do say that rubbing's racing, but car racing is a non-contact sport, Mr. Maxwell.
Yeah, you leave room on the outside there, sir. Clearly Luke decided otherwise on that one. I was not leaving room. Not our hope.
He'll probably plead the fifth on that one as well.
You got no evidence I did it. Luke, we got it on the broadcast. Nah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, it'd be the Bart Simpson. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
John McHutchinson, in the meantime, again, trying to fight his way past Jamie Bird. David Rolliston holding station in second, but Mike Bousson is away to the tune of about 1.2 seconds as they go into Butte heading into Villeneuve. So Mike at the minute, because he's got clear air, he's got no one in front of him, he's got plenty of cars behind him. Sometimes leading a race can give you that little bit more of motivation and confidence to hold station and stay where you are.
See, if it was anybody else up front, I would agree with you. But it's Mike. I've seen him lose a massive lead at Watkins Glen, and he went and stuck it straight in the wall through the bus stop.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I've seen him lose the lead a couple of times at other racetracks as well. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy dearly. He lives 40 minutes up the road. I kind of have to, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, and he hasn't quite been on the pace here tonight either. You know, not that bashing Mike, because I think Mike's a great driver. I just worry that he gets that little bit too confident within himself and then ends up making some form of ta-ta, should we say, that causes him no end of problems. So, yeah, I'm as much as I love Mike, I do just hope he can keep it on the racetrack as McHutchison gets a big puff of smoke that comes off the dirt. I think that might have been a Rollo up front there that spat it at him. Through Kleiner to go. Oh, John! Oh!
Ode Brown for the Scotsman, and Luke Maxwell gets through at Sacrament Shelling into Butte. Plus, also, Mike Bousson has got to worry because Benjamin Jones is very much in front of him. There they are, going into Boulderberg. And, well, Benjamin, good spatial awareness there. To the number 38 from the US, the only American driver we've got in this round of the season. But now you've got Rolliston versus Bird, Maxwell versus McHutchinson, LeMay versus Mellis.
Oh, no!
So
Oh!
David Rolliston was so close to having a massive incident with Benjamin Jones there. And Benjamin Jones is just keeping out of harm's way. He's letting the traffic go through. And Paul LeMay is going to be very careful going through into Aosta.
Yeah, Luke Maxwell has just lost that place to McHutchinson, and LeMay is in the background. Mellis did clear Jones, and now Mellis is there, but that was he's in pit lane. Where's the one I want? And see if I can find the Bird overtake on him. No, Bird's already gone there, unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to have to go back. I don't want to go back 2.5 minutes. But yeah, Bird, when Rollo got past him, Bird all of a sudden pulled out and Jones was there. And you could just see Bird kind of, almost you can think, he's sitting there thinking, oh, duties. You know what I mean? I've got to get this car back the other way. And he did. I didn't really know what else to say then, Alex, apart from duties, to be honest with you.
Well, okay. Well, I'll use probably the Australian vernacular. Oh, bugger.
Yeah. Oh, John again! Same
well, that's
corner.
the replay. Yeah, again. Well, that was from earlier, wasn't it? Because Luke got through on him at Sacrament Shelling over the incline. But now, well, let's become a 3-car brawl for P3 because Bird has got McHutchinson and Maxwell right on his case, and Paul LeMay is going to make it a quartet, a quintet possibly, with Stefan Mellis at the back end of this train. So P3 up for grabs. New fastest lap of the race, Paul LeMay, 1:19.417. Mellis goes for a moment through Erster. He's lost a place to Paul LeMay. Just went in too deep at the first corner. And the 55 from Belgium having a bit of a drama at this point in the race where we're just under 3 minutes away from the halfway point. So it's definitely cry havoc and let the radicals go to battle here at Zolder.
Yeah, and you've got some of the big hitters in this pack. Bird, McHutchinson, Maxwell, LeMay. all chasing down David Rolliston, who I think, but even by his standards this evening, can probably say he's not been quite on the pace. But we've got this 4-car fight. Mellis is only 6-7 tenths back at the moment, so it could be a 5-car fight. And then if they catch Rollo, it's going to be a 6-car brawl. So keep an eye on this, and we'll see whether or not they're going to be able to get a little bit closer. McCutcheon, well, that's about as close as he can possibly get here to Jamie Bird. And other than that, he's going to be in his back end.
Well, Jamie Bird gets a little bit rear end happy, and here goes McCutcheon side by side in towards Astor. McCutcheon up the inside of the number 39, and that's the Scotsman through for P3. Bird knew that it was coming and did not really try and fight it too much, but he had to defend against Luke Maxwell. There's the move by McCutcheon, wheel to wheel with Maxwell. With Bird. Bird goes off, nearly has a code brown, nearly ended up having the back end go around through the first corner. So he was very, very lucky indeed. But Jamie Bird, who always runs with the Club 100 Evo logos on his wagon, whether it's the SR8 or the SR10. Shout out again to John Vigor. It's always good because I always get a message from Jamie after a broadcast when I've said it, and he goes, "Yeah, John, JV will like that one." And John's a really, really good guy. Runs the Club 100 Championship and also runs the British Universities Karting Championship, BUKC. Which use the Birrell Arts, the all-enclosed bumper, unlike the owner-driver stuff that you and I have commentated on. And they're powered by Rotax 125cc Evo engines, because Rotax have signed up an association with Club 100. But yeah, Paul LeMay looking rather racy behind Luke Maxwell, and at the minute, John McCutcheon is the quickest out of the top 6. He's just done a 19.3. Ewan Bremer, in the meantime, has just put in the fastest lap of the race, but we've got a replay here with Mr. Superstar DJ himself, Stefan Mellis. Oh, Boulderberg.
Literally. On that one. But these guys are now on the back end of David Rolliston. Rollo has got a mountain, and he just got that all wrong. He got Kleiner wrong, bumped the curve. McCutcheon goes through, Bird goes through, Rollo goes instantly down into 4th, and he got that horribly wrong, David Rolliston. Watch the bump, bang!
Oi! Oh, that was worse than doing a wheelie on a BMX bike, that one.
Oh, mate.
Oh, that was nasty. I think David Rolliston was seeing his life flash before his very eyes when that front axle went up into the air with a big wallop of the sausage curves. But now this means that John McCutcheon is going to start bringing down the gap between himself and Mike Bousson. Let's not forget that John McCutcheon ended up 4th in the opening race. And, well, what's more to the point, he started P7, and that is Maxwell versus Rolliston through Erster. Rolliston keeps it round the outside. LeMay trying to go round the outside through into turn 2 at Kanalbocht, and then switches to the inside through Lucien Bianchi. But still, Maxwell makes that car incredibly wide. So good job by Maxwell in the number 118 car, but LeMay all over the rear wing. He's going to pull to the inside, or try to stick his nose up the inside of the Kleiner Chicane. And Luke Maxwell says, "No, you've got to do something better than that, Paul."
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, though, why Paul's going to get this now. He is quick. We've seen it in race number 1. He took the victory, Paul LeMay. So he's probably wishing that he could clear him, because at the moment, these 3 have lost nearly over a second, just about, to Jamie Bird in front. So there is Bird, and unfortunately that gap is out at about, 1.1. Oh no, no.
David, that is exactly the same place where Stefan Mellis just lost it. And once again, the man with the Tony the Tiger stripes on that car has lost the front bumper once more. So I think he got clipped by Luke Maxwell after he spun it going through Boulderbocht into Jochen Rindt. So Maxwell up to 4th, LeMay up to 5th. But what this has also done is that Maxwell is now the best part of 2.7 seconds behind Jamie Bird. But John McCutcheon, new fastest lap, just took 2 tenths out of Mike Bousson. gap down to 2.5 seconds with 7.5 still to go on the timer. There's an opportunity here. I think McHutchinson and Bird will start pulling each other along and go after Buson, but McHutchinson's got to keep it nice and clean through both chicanes. One wrong move from the Scotsman, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Jamie Bird, who's being very, very shrewd in avoiding the sausage curbs to keep himself in contention here, but McHutchinson now starts pulling away. Gap now 6/10.
Yeah, you can see going into the right-hander of Boulder Box here. Jamie Bird, slides it on the way out. That's going to lose that time he had. He did get it down to 6/10. He's now back out to 8, coming into the alternate chicane at the end. That fast chicane over to bump number 1. There's bump number 2. And now he's kind of freed up John McHutchinson to go after Mike Buson. Guarantee Buson was sat in that car praying that Bird was going to climb all over the back of McHutchinson. He needed them two to fight to extend that gap. He knows he's on a 1:19.27, but he also knows McHutchinson last time out just done a 1:18.86 and has pulled in nearly just under half a second on Mike. So he's going to have to get a little bit of a scurry on here, the man from Somerset. Otherwise, he could be in a little bit of trouble from the man from north of the border, should we say.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the 5 sectors, the only time where Buson and McHutchinson were equal was on the final sector, which is around about 8 seconds of negotiating that final bit. So that'll be through the alternate chicane into the start-finish straight. So Buson now has taken a fraction out. Well, he's looking at the previous sector. Oh my goodness me!
Losing time.
30.4 in the first sector by Buson, and then McHutchinson just did his personal best in the opening sector, a 29.929. He's done personal best pretty much across the board apart from sector 4, and the gap now is 1.2. He's just done an 18.6.
9
Buson 19.593. That's a second.
Yep. Oh, Mike, you are going to be in trouble. You are going to have to display something that McHutchinson's not seen before. He's got the gap down to below a second, carrying out.
Oh, John.
Spitting up dirt all over the place. We talked about this last night. Well, saying last night was about 2 o'clock in the morning, where we said about them bringing the debris onto the racetrack and then spinning on it. I'm kind of sitting there saying, well, no offense, that's your fault. That's not how, that's nobody's fault that you're spinning on the debris apart from your own for bringing it onto the racetrack. John's just brought that out, coming out of that turn number 3 as well. Anybody on that outside line could be in trouble, especially if they start sliding on that debris that he's just brought on. But Mike Buson, 7/10, 6/10. I don't know if Mike's going to have anything to defend this. I've got to be honest. I think John could pick a place and say, adios, senor. Look at that. Mike got sector 4 by 2 attempts, but he'd already lost 4.5 over the first 1, 2, and 3.
Or as the Dutch or the Belgians would say, tot ziens, see you later. It's... that gap is just coming down ridiculously quickly now. I mean, okay, yeah, it was, just over 2 tenths, but now John's having to deal with a little bit of aero wash from Mike Buson's rear wing. So as soon as he gets closer and closer, if he gets to within 2.5 to 3 tenths through that chicane, that was a little bit tidier there from John, so not too much dust flown into the air unlike what we saw on lap number 11. So John's just trying to tee it up. Oh, he's nibbled that sausage curve again. Yeah, that is the biggest issue for John McHutchinson, because that gap was 6.5 tenths going into the Kleine Chicane. It's now 9 tenths going into Villeneuve. So that's where John seems to have this little penchant need for whacking the sausage curbs. But then the biggest thing with that, folks, is that you don't have both rear wheels on the tarmac providing due traction to the rear end. And that's what you need to put the power down. And that's why we've seen John in the first race. Well, he lost so much momentum. He could have gone onto a podium. And you can see that Mike Buson he's getting a little bit more desperate now, is Mike, because you could see he took a little bit more grass going into that fast alternate chicane onto the start-finish straight. So he now knows Well, he's just done a 19.2. McHutchinson 18.925. Gap now 0.6 and closing. And again, we're just seeing that opportunity for John McHutchinson. It's not the fact it's the track being his enemy. It's Kleine Chicane being his enemy, and the fact that we're running out of time because we're coming up to the final 2 minutes to go. So that was a little bit cleaner there from John. Not too much air,
not
but
so much from Jamie.
Jamie Bird. Oh my goodness me, that was the tail wagging the dog right there.
Yeah, Jamie Bird not really making that through cleanly. Mike now can feel him. He knows he's coming. He can feel the engine. He can hear the engine. He knows John's on his way. Coming into Boulderberg for the last time. 18.21. I think there might actually be one. There's definitely going to be one more lap after this, give or take, or possibly. What are we going to get out of it? One more? No, 119. This might be the last one.
It might be two more. We're going to be going across the line.
Yeah, one and one more.
Two more to go. So
he's got to try and hold on. It's going to be hard.
It is a tall order, but Mike knows what to do, so we're not going to tell him how to suck eggs, so to speak. Luke Maxwell Maxwell's gone off circuit big time from 5th position. And what's happened here? Through Erster, onto the gravel, onto the grass. Oh, Code Brown there for the 118 from Team Radline.
Yeah, no grip. And then unfortunately goes and sits in the gravel trap. That releases Paul LeMay. He manages to hold on from Stefan Mellis, but Mellis is not too far now behind him. So Mellis closing in on Maxwell. That gap up front is down to 9 tenths. So John's lost some time over from sectors 2 down into 3. He's going to pull it back again. Here come those 6.5 tenths coming downwards into Boulder again. It's going to be one more lap. Can Mike Bousson in the 666 hang on? He's got one more lap here, Alex. He's got to surely drive. He's either going to have to try to drive this as defensively as he can or attack and just hope he's got the speed.
Well, the big thing was John McHutchinson lost half a second through Sector 2, which includes the Kleine Chicane. So if John wallops those sausage curbs again, then it's game over. McHutchinson has got the fastest lap of the race, but this time Mike Bousson was quicker by about a tenth and a bit into Kleine Chicane. They're going to go for the final time very shortly as they come through Lucy and Bianchi Bach, both kicking up the dirt. That gap now is less than 4 tenths. McHutchinson will not be able to send it up the inside here. Bousson hits his marks. McHutchinson this time straight lines the chicane. That's what we needed to see from John McHutchinson. Now in towards Villeneuve for the final time. This, I think, is going to be a grandstand finish. It could be a run to the line coming out of the final chicane.
Yeah, through they go now. There's a bump, there's a nose there that I think that was somebody had lost that. Not too sure who that was.
Ewan Bremer.
Ewan Bremer, I think it was. He's there. There goes Ben Jones making space. Bremer's on the inside there as well. You just saw a glimpse of him. Mike Bousson is going to hold on to this. He's got one more chicane to go. Can Bousson wrap this up? He's going to try and come through. He is going to get that run down over the line. He's going to go. Mike Bousson is your winner. He did manage to hold on to it. He stayed in front of John McHutchinson, and a great victory from him. Jamie Bird comes over in 3rd place. Paul LeMay in 4th. Mike, we've held that pressure, Alex, and I didn't think he was going to.
I think it was just about a case of when you get an initial advantage, and yes, I know you and Mike know each other very, very well, living in the same county, of course, in Somerset, but it's more the case of Mike knew what he had to do, and he probably had an inkling of, okay, if I was at Spa, I could have been 100% at the mercy of John McHutchinson. But Zolder is this old school circuit. It's dedicated for sprint racing. And it was just a clinical masterclass. Mike didn't put a foot wrong. It was John putting himself under pressure, especially going through Kleine Chicane. The penultimate lap, John lost half a second to Mike. And that half a second would have been the difference between Mike Buson finishing first, or John McHutchinson taking the W?
Yeah, here are the results from race number 2. Mike Buson is your winner. John McHutchison in second. Jamie Bird in third, then Paul LeMay in fourth, Luke Maxwell down in fifth, Stefan Mellis mid-pack in sixth, Paul Crabb, Menno de Graaf, Ewan Bramer, Ben Jones and David Rolliston. Don't forget top 5 reverse for race number 3, so that's going to put Maxwell and LeMay on the front row. That's going to be an interesting one going into race number 3 as well. We've got a little bit of warm-up. We've got 4 minutes before we get going again here for the final race. 25 minutes this time around, Alex. And the front 5, the fastest 5, are at the front.
Yeah. I think also with these different stages of reverse grids where okay, yes, we've had 11 drivers, but the thing is, folks, it's been ultra competitive right from qualifying through race 1 through race 2. We've had some dramas, but that's to be expected at a circuit like this when it's old school. It's been in use since 1963. It really hasn't changed that much over the course of the course of it. I mean, there's been several different variations. The Grand Prix circuit, which has been in use since 2002. I mean, the first layout was from 1963 to 72. Then it was 73 to 74. Then 75 to 85. They changed the format again, and then it's just a case of that fast alternate chicane. Really suits these SR8s. You know, you try and put a GT4 or a GT3 car on that kind of indented chicane, let's say, which is quite fast flowing because they're carrying a lot of speed. So, and it suits the SR8s. It'll probably suit the SR10s as well, just because of the way they're set up. They're very low to the ground. There's minimal clearance between the front splitter and the tarmac underneath. So you're dealing with finite tolerances. And that's what's quite crucial. But I think the top 5, it's going to be crucial. I mean, Luke Maxwell, he hasn't had a win tonight. He needs to play his cards right, put it all together in this final race of the evening, because so far we've had Paul LeMay and Mike Buson pick up a win apiece. Could we have 3 different winners from 3 different races? Well, the way the storybook's looking, James, to me, it sounds like a resounding yes.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Luke Maxwell.
True.
Front row.
True.
On pole. I don't see any reason why he can't.
I can't see any reason why possibly Jamie Bird can't have an opportunity at a win.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's the thing with the way this is made up. I think there's a lot of people that can take a victory here. And I think that these, they're all very equal. And, that front 6, should we say, are all very equal on pace. So it could be LeMay, it could be Bramer if he can get it right, it could be Buson, it could be Bird, McHutchison, Maxwell. It could be any one of them because they are all so similar. It's whether or not they can avoid any form of controversies, any spins, any slowdowns being a big one as well, to be able to do this, to be able to take that victory.
Yeah, very, very true. It's just going to be one of those things where, again, and I've said this all the way through the broadcast here, James, this is a circuit that demands precision and demands full commitment. And Mike Buson, with the way he handled that car all the way through that second race, was a textbook example. John McHutchinson was showcasing signs of urgency, which then later turned to desperation, because I know he was absolutely chomping at the bit to put a move on Mike, as we see Stefan Mellis decide to do a bit of drifting down the start-finish straight coming out of the final chicane. But it's more a case of, if you can keep it on the black stuff, stay on the racing line, and not give anyone else behind you an opportunity to get through, then you've pretty much secured your place, wherever it might be on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talking about the grid, is going to be ready very, very shortly. Warm-up is finishing here. So let's see who is where. It should be just the top 5 reversed, ready for race number 3. So the grid will be up. Come on. when it decides it flicks over. There we go. Luke Maxwell is on pole alongside Paul LeMay. Jamie Bird, John McCutcheon, Mike Buson, Stefan Mellis. You got Paul Crabb, Meadow de Graaf, Ewan Bramer down in ninth. He's going to have his work cut out. Ben Jones and David Rolliston bringing up the rear end of the grid. But that front row, it's kind of, you're looking at that situation and thinking, wow. You've got Paul LeMay, who can struggle with starts at times. You've got Luke Maxwell, who can get the starts, but unfortunately is, been caught up in bits. And these two sitting on the front row together, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, we're just waiting for Benjamin Jones and David Rolliston to join the grid. But yeah, it is going to be when you've got Maxwell, LeMay, Bird, McHutchinson, Buson. Paul Crabb could be an outside dark horse in this one, as long as the Jaguar livery tribute band from the old sports car days in the 64 gets his way up the grid. But we're about to go green here, James. Over to you, buddy.
Yeah, lights on once more for the final race of the evening, and we are green, green, green. Paul LeMay and Luke Maxwell. LeMay got off the start line. Maxwell did as well. Bird did. He got a great jump. Buson's on the side of John as well. LeMay takes the lead. Maxwell's tucked in right behind him. Jamie Bird in behind that. Then John McCutcheon, Mike Buson, Mellis, Crabb, Bramer up one. Meadow de Graaf, Rolliston and Ben Jones. But Bird now attacking Luke Maxwell. Attacked, should we say, opened up that steering and sent Luke into the gravel.
Well, the thing was, Jamie Bird had the racing line, Stefan Mellis up the inside. Oh, he causes a little bit of everyone darting left, right and centre. Stefan Mellis became the Belgian cat amongst the visiting pigeons, let's say, and nearly caused a big old calamity.
He went in hot. Stefan Mellis there as well.
Hot to trot, and it all went wrong.
Yeah, and I bet you I can guarantee he was absolutely praying that he would be able to stop that car at that point. Just missed Mike Buson, and Mike managed to hold on, but they've still got 21 and a little bit minutes to go. 23 and a little bit minutes to go. Paul LeMay out in front, Ewan Bramer, Luke Maxwell, then McCutcheon, Crabb, Buson, all there at the same time. LeMay with a 1:25.332, fastest lap of the race, over lap number one. But now Rolliston and Jones are out here.
Oh, Ewan Bremer has dropped it again. Oh dear. They do say lightning strikes twice, but he went into the back. He came steamrolling into the first corner, into the back of Paul Crabb. Oh, the Dutchman's had lightning strike thrice, and Paul Crabb nearly turned around into Auster. I thought, well, Ewan Bremer has definitely got to calm it down a little bit. He's I mean, we thought it was bad enough with Stefan Mellis doing the hoi polloi Hail Mary into the Kleine Chicane, and where he was like saying, don't hit me, thank God. And Ewan Bremer just went, right, okay, I'll go late on the brakes. That was not part of the plan, hitting Paul.
Go late on the brakes and I might hit you. So unfortunately for Bramer, he's had, this will be his drop week. Drop weeks will be applied after this one, and then another one after after round number 8. So they've got, I think this is going to be Bramer's drop week by a country mile, to be blatantly honest. So yes. Unfortunately for him, it's not been a good night. LeMay still out in front. Bird there. Maxwell, McCutcheon, Buson now down into 5th. And then you've got Paul Crabb, Stefan Mellis and Meadow de Graaf, who are having a nice little bit of a battle, should we say, further down. Well, Crabb, of course, coming back on.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think Paul Crabb sustained a bit of back-end damage thanks to the punt from Ewan Bremer. So his lap times, in comparison with the 5 in front, he was well off. He was actually 5 seconds slower than Paul LeMay, a 1:24.6. And Stefan Mellis was on a high 22.8. So that was 1.8 seconds slower. So Stefan Mellis closing in on Paul Crabb, rotting on board with the number 55. So yeah, you can see the left-hand side has been stoved in somewhat. So that's not going to help the back-end aero on that car.
No. It's all where Bramer hit him going into one. So we'll see how he gets on and whether or not he can stay ahead of Mellis. Mellis is pushing, mind you, so he's not going to be too far behind, I don't think. But, that is not going to help. Where is he? Oh, there he is.
There he is. Blinkety blink.
I was going to say for Stefan Mellis, that is not going to help for him either. That car does blink out and come back in again. The May still holding that front line by 3/10 with Bird. They've opened up 1.4 to Maxwell and McHutchinson. So lots of action taking shape, but we've still got 20 minutes to go. And we've seen these guys go at it once more all the way through. But Bird is on alongside. The May does concede, and Bird manages to take the lead going into Kleiner.
Well, I think at the meantime, it's early doors in this race. We're only coming up to a fifth of the timer counting down, 5 minutes out of 25. So maybe Paul wants to use a little bit of a strategy. Let Jamie go in front and just pull him along to try and get away from Luke Maxwell. But Luke Maxwell is 7.5 tenths of a second behind. Then a further 6 tenths back, we've got John McHutchinson. Mike Bousson, who started fifth, having taken the win in race 2, is within 1.2 seconds. So this is a quintet of cars that could very much be in contention for the race win. Paul Crabb has also, in the meantime, upped his pace with a 1:19.677. But he's got the best part of nearly 5 seconds to find to close in on the 666. So it's all about what Paul does now. And he's just done a 19.8, so he is slowing a little bit. Paul LeMay has just done a 20.2, but more to the point, if he can keep with Jamie Bird, they've started to pull away from Maxwell ever so slightly. The gap between first and third is best part of 1.7 seconds, but then McHutchinson is right on Maxwell's case, shows his nose heading into the Kleiner Chicane, but John again has got to be very careful. He's learnt a little bit from race 2, where he's now using a little bit of curbing, but not whacking the sausages with full momentum.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be whacking any sausages with full momentum. It could cause you a great deal of pain, as it will end up resulting in you going round. Maxwell just unfortunately has made him slight little error. That's allowed McHutchinson to go through. McHutchinson then makes another error that allows Maxwell to go through, and these two swapping places, and all the while Bousson closing in.
Yeah, it's a bit of musical chairs between third and fourth at the moment, but the music hasn't yet quite stopped, folks, so just be wary. Jamie Bird, new fastest lap of the race, 19.057. Paul LeMay with a high 19.3. So yeah, it's just a case of making sure that you do your level best. And Mike Bousson now is closing in. So John. It's not the Kleiner Chicane, it's turn 3 that has just become his nemesis, because Mike Bousson went up the inside as John lost all that momentum, ran onto the kitty litter, and that was all she wrote there for P4.
Yeah, unfortunately for John, he's now dropped back. Melograph, Mellis and Crabb still going for it further down. LeMay still going in and trying to close on to the back of Mr. Bird. Has he had the pace from race number 1? That's my worry, whether or not he's had the pace back from race 1. Or has he lost it a little bit, Paul LeMay? Because he was quick in 1.
I think it's maybe just a little bit of conservation. I mean, the good thing from this perspective, he's within 4.5 tenths of a second of Jamie Bird. And it's a longer race, so sometimes the strategy in a 5-minute race, which will probably give us, take us to close to 20 laps of racing here at Zolder, means that Paul doesn't need to work as hard as normal like he did in race 1, where he just literally pulled away and eventually won by, what was it? It was about 1.1 seconds. So it's just about keeping it nice and clean, and that's what he's doing again. He's just using this consistent run of form that has helped him out no end so far tonight.
Absolutely. Now closing in to the back of Bird again. Bousson's getting onto the back of Maxwell. There they are in the background. There's the Flying Scot, 1.7 seconds back from him. Paul LeMay and Jamie Bird now running down into Boulderberg. And LeMay still sitting in there just waiting. He's could get that run out if he can manage to hold on. He can. He doesn't get a bad run, but Jamie Bird gets a little bit of a better one.
Yeah, and also been looking at Luke Maxwell and Mike Busson's time. Busson's over 0.3 of a second quicker at the minute per the last lap or two. So Maxwell is hemorrhaging time. He did a he's just responded. He did a 19.4 on his previous lap. He's just done a high 19.0. And John McHutchinson, well, normally with him, when he's on pace, he's flying, and he's just done an 18.9. So he's trying to close that gap up to Mike in fourth. But yeah, I think it's more a case of LeMay just letting Jamie Bird know that he's there. And we've seen drivers under pressure. Mike Busson versus John McHutchinson last time out was a perfect example of that. As there's 15 minutes on the timing to go. I think Paul LeMay is just not putting everything into it and just keeping it nice and calm and you know, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. But Jamie Bird's having to keep pace by going slightly faster. And Paul's getting the added benefit of a little bit of slipstream assist from Jamie, especially coming down through Boulderberg. And but a wiggle there from Bird through that corner has now allowed LeMay to close on in. So could we see a change for the lead out of the chicane?
Well, find out here. Paul LeMay does not get it done. Mike Busson does not get it done. McHutchison closes back in. Crab has escaped Meadow de Graaf, and he's escaped Stefan Mellis. Wow, Stefan. Yeah, don't do that, mate. That looked that looked quite painful there. But John McHutchison, Busson now back together. And then they're still going after Maxwell. You can see LeMay further up, still pressurising Bird into Kleiner, not making it through. 11 minutes of the 25 have gone. And LeMay still fighting out. He's putting in the pace though, Alex. That's the good thing.
Yeah, I think the good thing is that with Paul LeMay, Jamie Bird is actually responding to him. And you can see that Jamie's having to push that a little bit harder because he's the one going through the dirty air. Paul's not having to worry about it, but with these cars, they always get that little bit of backwards aero wash from the car in front. So sometimes you've just got to be a bit more, you know, you can see how smooth Paul LeMay was coming out of Boulderberg. Now they go into the chicane, and you can just see that's one bump there. Now these slight bumps are enough to take the tyres off the tarmac for a little fraction, and that's where sometimes you can lose a little bit as well. Paul LeMay nearly a tenth quicker on that last lap. Gap now down to 0.3 going into Stellenbosch, which is at turn 2. Then we got Canal that they're going through now here at 3 before Lucien Bianchi at turn 4. So it's just all about ticking the boxes for Paul LeMay at the moment. We're now halfway through the timer, so 12.5 minutes gone. 12.5 to go, and LeMay is just saying to Jamie Bird, just to let you know, I am behind you. You're going to have to wait until I put a move on you, sunshine.
Now, when is LeMay going to do that to Jamie Bird, or is he just going to hold there and sit and wait? McHutchison, Busson and Maxwell. Busson's got to look behind as well as look in front, and now he's decided he's going to look in front. He's cleared Maxwell. And McHutchison is also going to try the same thing down into Boulderberg. He's trying to get 2. Did he get 2? No, he got 1, but Luke's going to come back at him again. Side by side now, down into the final chicane. That left-right, Luke Maxwell takes the position. And John got it, but came in too hot and then come back again.
That was a great move around the outside, keeping it pinned to the outside of Turlarman by Mike Busson. Well played there, Mike. And that's a place where you don't see that kind of move happen often here at Zolder. And you've got to have cojones of steel to do that. And Busson had them in spades right there. So I think that's probably one of the moves of the night. to be completely honest with you. Yeah, but John McCutcheon carried a little bit too much overspeed, ran a little bit deep, could have nearly have made contact with Mike Bousson going through into Boulderberg, but luckily enough, they all lived through that drama. Paul Crabb, in the meantime, is 4 seconds behind, and what's more, he's actually quicker than all three. So if McCutcheon and Maxwell keep battling, and if Bousson starts pulling away, then that could give an opportunity for Paul Crabb maybe to get into the top 5 by the checkered, if at the very least.
But Willie, Annie, did you know it's so hard, because if these two carry on, there's no reason Crabb can't get back onto them. But I'm just a little bit. They've got to stop doing what they're doing, because Mike's getting away a little bit at the same time, and with that, Crabb's coming in. There is the Jaguar liveried Irishman in the back. Well, no, he's not. He is there. He's just come back on. So there he is there. So he is closing on him as well. But it's that natural general delivery of, if you start fighting, you bring the person in, you lose time.
Yeah, if I'm completely honest, I mean, looking back at the race lead, I mean, it's now 0.4 of a second. John does it again through Lucien Bianchi, boxed at turn 4, runs wide. Mike Bousson also brought a bit of dust onto the circuit in his own right, but I don't think the battle's quite yet intensified between Jamie Bird and Paul LeMay at the front. And the reason why I say that, Jamie's just done a personal best of an 18.999. Paul LeMay 0.4 slower, so Paul is waiting. And I would probably say with maybe 2 or 3 laps to go, based on time, that's when you're going to see Paul LeMay try and fight him. So Paul's trying to conserve his, his energy, and also with that arm that he has problems with, he doesn't want to overexert himself in a longer strategy race, and that's a good shrewd tactic there for Paul.
Oh!
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That was like shake your tail feather there from John McCutcheon, a la Blues Brothers.
He definitely did.
He was lucky to get away with that one.
Big snap for John there. Managed to hold on to it. Bousson's now in front. Maxwell sitting behind him. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Bird and LeMay still going at it. We've just broken under 9 minutes, give or take, remaining, and Bird managing to keep that lead would be the 3rd winner. No, let me rephrase that. The 3rd different winner of the evening.
Yeah, with Paul LeMay taking the win in race 1, Mike Bousson race 2, and even with the fact that Mike is now 3.4 seconds behind Paul LeMay, the thing is that he's got Luke Maxwell closing in, and Luke Maxwell was over 2.5 tenths of a second quicker on the previous tour, and that gap is getting closer and closer for 3rd place. And there you see in the back of shot those 2 drivers there. John McCutcheon now within 1.5 seconds, having lost all that time earlier on. John's probably going to send it like he meant it very, very shortly to try and close that gap. But if he's had problems, it looks like he's, he did a 12.272 in Sector 2 because of, I think, maybe the Kleine Chicane again. That seems to have been John's nemesis pretty much all evening. And then also Turn 4 has become his nemesis as well.
Yeah. You didn't see him. Nope, manages it this time. What does he do going through the chicane? Is he going to be able to hold on here this time for John McCutcheon? Tidier. He needs to do that every lap, unfortunately, and he just doesn't seem to quite be able to manage it. We've got Jamie Bird at the moment with the fastest lap of the race on a 1:18.714. So a great job from Jamie Bird. 1:18.7, fastest lap. Will get an extra point for the fastest lap. They all do in the races. But LeMay still there as well, and he's only got probably 7 minutes to go. Ooh, I don't know.
I think it just depends on how Paul now attacks the next couple of laps, because Paul was just over a tenth slower on that previous tour. I think it might be the case that Paul's strategy of just conserving himself a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if we get down to the final 2 or 3 laps, and what are we now? We're going to be 7 minutes to go, 1 minute 20. So you're probably looking at about another 6 or 7 laps remaining once we cross the start-finish line next time around. So it's going to be a tough call, and it's dependent on what Paul wants to do. Does he want to have a little bit of damage limitation and score good points? So that will be a first, a second. Where did he place in the last race? He would have placed 4th. So a first, second, and a 4th. Not a pretty good, solid amount of points here in round 6 for the number 27.
Yeah, but we all aspire to win, don't we?
Yes, there is
You know what
that.
I mean?
But then sometimes, if you're looking for the title, you have to, at points, look at the bigger picture, and especially now when drop scores are going to be taken into consideration after this round. Sometimes playing the long game, and we've seen it where there's been series where some drivers have finished top 2, top 3, not taken a win all season, and wrapped up a title. So it is within the realms of possibility. That could be what Paul is thinking about, and then just say, well, Jamie's done a really good job, but Paul last time around was slightly quicker. So I think maybe Paul might have the mental and physical dexterity and strength thereof, resolve, to maybe try and put the pressure on, but he's got to do something special, and he's got to be quicker in a few more sectors. He was quicker in the final sector. Oh no, that is Luke Maxwell around, I'm afraid.
Was that all on his own?
Let's see, into Kleiner Chicane.
Yes.
Oh yes, he's whacked the inside curb and probably tripped over one of the sausage curbs, and that's added insult to injury there.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he hit that sausage. And as we know, whenever you whack that sausage, the back end came round and lifted that car off, and he did end up going round that.
It's not sausage, it's walls.
Yes. Good old
but now,
bangers.
what did I say? What did I say about Paul LeMay? He was waiting, now he's gone full attack.
Yeah.
Because that gap was next to nothing coming out of that chicane, and Jamie Bird now starts to retaliate by defending. And they do say what is it in some places? They say a good form of defense is an offense, and that's exactly what Paul LeMay has got to do. He's got to put all the pressure onto Jamie Bird, and that move coming out of turn 4 by Jamie Bird, dirtying the left side tyres, now says to Paul LeMay, right, let's go after him, and there's the mistake. Is LeMay going to capitalise? No! But he dives to the inside through into Buta. Is he going to make it before Villeneuve? No.
No. Yes! Bird's done it on his own! Bird has done it on his own! Ian Villeneuve. He's lost second, he's lost third. Oh, Jamie Bird all solo. They were side by side. Watch him hit the inside curb. Bang! Oh, yeah, he hit the sausages again.
Well, that was the thing. It was because of the fact that he made that mistake out of the Kleiner Chicane, first of all. It upset the car, and he went right to defend. Paul then switched to the inside, doing the old Nigel Mansell, and got the pressure on into Buta, went towards the outside of Villeneuve, backed out of it, because he knew that he put Jamie Byrne under enough pressure for the number 39 to make an error. It was unforced. And Jamie is now out of the running for a top 3, and Paul LeMay now has nearly got a 4-second lead.
I'd like to point out in all of this as well, Mike Bousson, after being nowhere in race number 1, has now
nowhere in qualifying.
Nowhere in qualifying or practice, has now grabbed 2 podiums in a row here for him, and wow. I think for even him it would be a shock, but he's got that same adversary behind him in John McCutcheon, and again he's got to defend like crazy. He's only going to have one more lap, and poor old Mike again is under the cosh once more.
But the thing is, you learn every single race, and Mike knows that he can defend against John McCutcheon. And these drivers have done, by the end of this race, so you'll have all the free practice if you did anything, but no, Mike loses it out of the chicane and John gets through. Drama again. This time not for the lead, but for the second.
He's letting back through.
Yeah, yeah, you can see here Mike just tail wagging the dog to the left-hand side of the circuit at full speed, and John just went, you know what? I want to have a battle.
Well, they are.
Yeah, but this is why. This is why.
Again.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he knows that he wants to put the boot on the other foot, does John McCutcheon. But Mike Bousson looking towards the outside into the Kleiner chicane.
He's going to get it.
Is John going to whack the sausage curbs? He does.
Yeah, they got it all wrong. John got that wrong again. Now it's down for Bousson to run around the outside. Is he going to have that inside line? He's not. He's got to get this. And all the while, Bird's coming back at him at the same time. These three are going to be looped together for this whole entire last complex. And John McCutcheon is back ahead of the group. But there you go. Bousson's trying to get him offline. McCutcheon does make it through. I think Paul LeMay is going to come through the final chicane now. There he is ahead. Paul LeMay is going to wrap up the victory here, take the win in race number 3. Well done, Paul. But this battle is resuming, and it is going to be John McCutcheon, I think, who's going to come over. Jamie Bird's in the wall.
Paul Crabb. Oh, two major mistakes. So Paul Crabb comes through the final chicane as, that car is absolutely destroyed for Jamie Bird. My Godfather. So you look at the rate of speed coming out of Boulderberg and through into...
hold on, I've got too far back
now. Well, this is earlier in the lap, but this is coming through into Jochen Rindt. So keep your eyes on Jamie Bird. So Bousson trying to get the run on McCutcheon into the final chicane. He's already started losing it, and through the final corner, bang goes the front, bang goes the rear.
And you're looking at that as if to say, you can see it coming. This is the problem for Jamie Bird. You can see that coming, and you already know he's already losing it. Watch here, he goes over the bump. He's sliding now. He can't get it rotated. Gets it round, and then bang, spin for Jamie Bird. Oh, dude, what dramatic.
The thing was is that he was coming through that final chicane, and by going in left and probably with a little bit too much speed, I could see the back end twitch to the right, and I thought, he's got to try and catch this, or it's going to go horribly wrong. And the latter happened, and it just, sideways, a la Tokyo Drift, and front and rear end rearranged, but he still managed to come across the line in 5th. And there's the car going through the Kleiner chicane.
Yeah, final results of race number 3. Paul LeMay is your winner, second win of the night. He's had 2 wins and a 4th. John McCutcheon in 2nd. Paul Crabb 3rd after overtaking the spinning, rotating carousel that was Jamie Bird out of the last corner. Luke Maxwell down in 5th after making a mistake there into Kleiner chicane. Menno de Graaf in 6th. Seven Ellis 7th. Mike Bousson down in 8th. Huh? Did I miss something? Unless Mike's got a penalty. Ewan Bramer, Ben Jones, David Rolliston. I am pretty sure that is not how that happened. Because Mike come over the line in 3rd. What did he do to get that? Did he get himself a slowdown or not able to get it off?
I don't know, because...
Or did he... Did he hit... Oh, hold on. Did he hit the drive-through?
Oh, on incident points.
Yes. Absolutely. I will find out for Mike. I'm literally getting him to come to the booth now, but let's have a chat with Mr. Money in the Bank, Paul LeMay, who's taken 2 wins and a 4th. He won in race number 1. He won in race number 3 after an epic battle all the way through. Both of them wins as well. Finished 4th in race number 2. Mr. Paul LeMay, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Extremely knackered, mate. That was great fun. yeah, just had to just keep it tidy and just keep the pressure on there on Jamie, really, because there was no way I was going to get past unless I just kept the pressure on.
Yeah, and you definitely did do that, mate. And he ended up making a bit of a mistake for himself as well. Let's go back to race number 1. I know it was 3 races ago and a good nearly an hour ago. Do you remember that far back?
No, I can't.
No, I didn't think you was. You were out in front, mate. You took it by a win. That's fine. There you go. Jobs are good and well done to you. Race number 2, 4th place as well. Not a bad haul of points for you, especially coming into the fact that drop weeks will be applied this week.
Yeah, no, I'm just chuffed to bits, really. Yeah, in race 2, I just had to again, it's so difficult to overtake. It's just try and keep the pressure on the guy in front, and that's all that was just basically my tactic. But it was really difficult to follow really close, especially through the chicane before the start-finish line.
Yeah.
I found that really tricky. So, yeah, I think in race 1, once I was in front, I really just took it easy in those areas where I thought it was a bit iffy, didn't quite have the confidence. So I just tried to maximize the rest of the lap, and just the 2 areas where I struggled a bit, I just was a little bit cautious, and it really paid off.
Yeah, it did. And you got through all 3 races.
Yeah.
Well done to
Chuffed
you.
to bits.
Well done, dear sir, as well. Well done, mate, on your 2 wins and a 4th place. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, you guys, for doing a top job broadcasting, and the rest of the guys that I race with. You know, without them, it wouldn't be anything, would it? So, yeah, all the guys in the league.
Awesome job. Well, thanks so much, Paul, for joining us there, bud, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Right. Now, I do want to have a quick... I tell you what, let's leave him till last. Let's bring Mr. John McHutchinson in the booth, and we can find out what happened when we didn't make the grid. John, what was it, bud?
I couldn't hear the people in chat, so I've gone into my settings. I've got 30 seconds, so I've gone into my settings and turn the volume up. Next thing, you've missed the start. I was like, oh shit, oh sugar. So, that was why.
Oh, well, that was that one. Yeah,
Yep.
nice little battle with Mike in race number 2, though.
There were great battles there, and really enjoyed the races. You know, it's a good wee track. There is chances to overtake, but difficult. You need the opponent to make a mistake. It was me. It was making all the mistakes tonight. I don't know how I managed to hold it in one.
Kleiner chicane, not your friend this evening.
No, it was a corner before the chicane. The corner going onto the back straight, and I don't know how I didn't end up in the wall. You know, it was.
Yeah,
call it luck or whatever, but
mate, we saw, and we, you know, and I did wonder how, or should we say, how lucky were you carrying that this evening as well? Because you know, the chicane was not your friend. That corner was turn 4 was not your friend either. I'm surprised you managed to get it to the end a couple of times as well. It was a little bit hairy out there at the same time. So, you know, going forward, by the time we put, obviously, the first drop week on at the same time, we're heading into Zandvoort next week. John, you should come in top of the championship even with your drop week. How are you feeling going into Zandvoort?
looking forward to it. Really looking forward to Zandvoort. Zandvoort's a very good blast in this car. A lot of fast corners, which suits me. But tricky bit towards the end, you know, the twisted section.
Yeah.
It's easy to look the car as well, so watch your tyres.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Well, we look forward to seeing how you get on, John. Well done on surviving this evening. I think I'm going to put that one down too. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Give a shout out to Mike there. He was brilliant tonight. Well done to him.
Yeah, I'm just about to have a chat with him, God help me, as well. But there we go. Enjoy that one.
Is it Farming World tonight again, or is it Gardener's World?
It might be Gardener's World. I did think about being a Paul Lick crabbing first, actually, because that's probably going to be quicker than having a chat with Mike, to be honest.
Yeah, you're talking about airplanes.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. John, have a good one, bud. I'll catch up with you probably next Sunday.
Yeah, James, okay.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye-bye. Right.
Oh, God, which way round do I really want to do this one? Let's bring in the Irishman of Mr. Paul Crabb. Had a very roller coaster night, Paul, should we say?
a typical evening for me. Good bits, lots of bad bits, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was such an interesting track to drive.
And lots of damage bits.
Yeah, I got on the last one. I got a little bit of a tap from Ivan on going into T1. I think I overslowed and caught him out. And yeah, it kind of put me down a tenth or two on lap times. But other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, it was, and it was very interesting to watch you race around third place in race number 1, though. So that weren't a bad start to your night, and then it kind of just went up and down from there.
Yeah, the second race was a bit of a mess, and then I kept doing dumb stuff, and then the last race I was really happy with. I was on a good pace, and I was creeping up on the guys in front, and I thought they're bound to have a bit of a ding dong shortly, and they did, and I locked into P3 when I should have been P5.
Yeah, I'm guessing Mike might have incident limits, but I'm going to find out all about that when I talk to him in a minute. Paul, it's been great talking to you. Heading to Zandvoort next week, mate. It should be an interesting one. But anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, shout out. I'd like to shout out to, we did the 24-hour at Daytona over the weekend. Just shout out to the team.
How'd you get on?
Good fun. We had to pack it in after 12 hours. We accumulated too much damage. We were down at the back. With no hope of moving forward. So
okay, mate. That's fair enough there, bud.
Chuck the towel in.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Paul, have a good one, mate. I'll see you next week.
Okay, cheers, gents. Thank you.
Care. Right, here he comes. Oh, God, I've got to do it, Alex. I've brought him in third. I brought him in the very last. I've had him waiting ages, but let's bring him in.
Yeah, probably the best thing.
Yeah, bring him into the booth here as well. The man who was nowhere in practice. He was nowhere in quali. He was nowhere in race 1. He somehow holds on to a win for race number 2. He should have had a podium in race number 3, but I'm guessing there might have been an incident limit there, Mike, at the end that might have got you a penalty.
I'll be brutally honest, like I said to John, I didn't want him to have second, so it's do or die. I knew it was a very high chance I was going to come a cropper there, but I thought to myself, it's second or last. I don't care. I can't have John go past me, or take the second from me. So it is what it is.
Well, he did get it, and you did get a penalty.
If I had more instance points, like I said to him, I would have hit him off, but I didn't. I thought I'd take the game on.
I'm not quite sure that's quite the standard we like watching from you, Mike, to be honest.
I don't know. It's all right between teammates, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose on that one. But you managed to hold on. I'll tell you what, though, that race 2 was an absolute blinder, and you managed to hold on to the win.
Well, I expect you were there going, oh, he's going to pull over for him in a minute or something along those lines. But
no.
I thought myself, I ain't having it.
I did not say that.
Okay, what did you say?
I actually turned around and said, I'm fearful for Mike because I've seen him lead at Watkins Glen by a country mile and been it in the wall in the bus stop. So,
I'm
All
amazed.
the chicanes here, I did get a little bit worried.
Yeah. I'm amazed John didn't rear end me at some point because I had to go so slow through that left, right. I don't know what you call them.
Chicane?
Chicane, heavy curbed chicane they've got in that thing. I sort of literally pulled up, put the indicator on, and went through on my merry way.
Well, you managed to do it, Mike, at least, and hold on to the victory. So, proud of you on that one. How close was you on the... Did you have one incident point left going into that final chicane, then? Is that what I'm guessing?
One or two. I thought I had 15. It might have been 16. And I thought to myself, I just want to get the run on him because you know what it's like.
Unfortunately, Jamie Bird tried the same thing, but we saw what happened to him.
Yeah, well, you see me qualifying. I crashed it 3 times.
We did. I was a little bit worried for you, Mike. You weren't quite on top of your game, were you, in quali and practice?
Like Dave seems to think it's strategic that I'm 10th on the first race all the time. No, it's that taking me that long to learn the track because I start late-ish. I use, it normally takes practice qualifying and one race to hone the talent that is Mike Busson. And, then I'm ready.
Right, okay. Most people get out of practice, Mike, during the week.
Some of them have obviously got too much time on their hands. They're semi-retired. I don't know, something like that. But some of us have got to work for a living.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that what it is it?
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Times are hard.
Yeah, I imagine there as well. Well, fella, it's been a pleasure, as it always is, talking to you. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
To my old mate Donald Trump, doing a great job. We give it to Donald this week.
Donald? He's only just got in though, mind you, mate.
Oh, yeah, but he's bound to be causing chaos already, so we're all right.
He probably has.
he probably has already, but
he's chucked 500 immigrants out in one day and built a wall or something,
Mike, love you, but you got to go. We can't do this.
What? We could extend this. This could be a section all on its own. Our own podcast. Right. I'll phone you here with you later. Bye.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Words escape me right now, ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Parfitt is currently in a fit of giggles after that.
Oh, just
Thanks, Mr.
bringing
Busson,
him
for
in.
that one.
Oh God, I'm deeply
As soon as he went Donald Trump, I went, oh, here we go.
That I can understand. That's fine. But the next bit of chucking 500.
But that's Mike in a nutshell. We've known him. We've spoken to him both in post-race interviews, and that man, you give him the opportunity to talk, he will take full advantage of it. 100%. It doesn't matter.
God.
It doesn't matter. But hey, that's the post-race interviews done and dusted there, JP.
I'm all right. I got this. I can finish it. I'm fine. Yeah. There we go. Apologies if anybody got offensive. It's Mike. Tough on that one. So there we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us for this round. Join us next time at Danville as we head there on the 27th of January. We then finish off with Watkins Glen, and then of course we've got the no drop weeks of Interlagos on the 10th. Of course that had to be on the schedule, and round 10 where we do the hour long at Le Mans for the endurance race. Join us a little bit later on for myself and Mr. Ewan O'Leary for the Autobahn Sports Car from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and then of course early tomorrow morning, it's not for the Australian League we're covering, it's the FDL Super Formula Lights from Suzuka for their opening round as well. So join us for that one. But I've been JP. I've been alongside Alex Goldschmidt, and as always, take care. Have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.